getting absolutely spectacular reviews. It was in People magazine and Publishers Weekly. And our copy that we have in the collection, we have a couple of copies, it went out the moment it hit the shelves. And my wife happened to read this when it was in pre-pub, and she said it's absolutely magnificent. So if you want to read a really good book, she actually said that this could be the best book of the year she's read so far. And I mean, her night tables, she's a librarian also. So
do you think it's because we all love lying?
no, she's a very honest critic. She's been a reader for quite some time, so she knows her stuff. But I'm going to turn it over now to James Thomson, and I'd like to thank him for agreeing to do this talk today with us at the library.
Thanks, Steve. So here I am, a debut author at the age of 68. I'm going to read two pieces today. One is from the prologue, and which kind of I have as a teaser to set up the story, and then from the first chapter, and I'll introduce that when I get to it. In the prologue, we meet a woman by the name of Lucy, who's on an airplane. She sits down next to the woman. She's sitting next to a woman, and she tells the woman that she has a son and a daughter, and today is her son's 9th birthday. And when the plane lands, Lucy's coming from New York to Boston, where she lives. It's about 8:15 in the evening, and the woman says, "At least you'll be home in time to see your son blow out the candles." Lucy smiles, trying to imagine what a joy that would be. She goes to a small bistro, has a light dinner, has a glass of wine, and then comes home. When Lucy gets home, Frodo and Sam are asleep on the couch. Frodo yawns and tries to shake himself awake, while Sam curls up against the light. "Some watchdog you are," Lucy says, as Frodo comes over and wags his tail. He looks like a cross between a boxer and a corgi, reddish-brown coat, short legs and a blunt snout, one bent ear, a tail that sticks straight up. When a man at the dog park asked what breed he was, Lucy laughed and said, "Albanian goat herd." Lucy goes to the back door. Frodo goes to the back door, and Lucy lets him out into the yard. She takes off her heels and puts on a pair of slippers, checks the thermostat, and turns up the heat. Sam comes into the kitchen and meows, and Lucy puts some fresh kibble in his bowl. The messages on the answering machine are from her mother and Jill and Carla. One melancholy, one anxious, one offhand, each in her own way acknowledging what day it is, but none of them willing to come out and say it. The mail is nothing but solicitations and bills. Lucy pours a glass of wine, then goes to the study and sits at her desk, its walnut surface scarred with nicks and glass rings, and one long burn from a cigarette ash that could have set the whole house on fire. In the lower left-hand drawer, there's a stack of leather-bound journals. She takes out the one on top and opens it to the place marked by the thin red ribbon attached to the binding. For several years, she wrote almost every day. Now weeks go by without a word, her anger and sorrow shriveled to a hard kernel stuck permanently in the back of her throat. She smooths the journal open with the heel of her hand and does the math quickly on a slip of scrap paper, feeling guilty that she cannot recall the numbers instantly and recite them down to the minute. She writes with a fountain pen. There's something comforting in the permanence of the blue-black ink soaking into the page. January 25th, 1990. 6 years, 7 months, and 15 days gone. Happy birthday, Nathan. 9 years old today. That is so hard to believe. I can almost see you laughing, a shock of dark brown hair falling across your forehead, your grown-up teeth still too big for your face. Did you have a party after school today, or will you have to wait for the weekend? An afternoon of sledding on a snowy hillside, no girls allowed. Hot chocolate and cake afterward, wet socks and gloves drying by the fire. Or will it be a picnic on a sunny beach, you and your pals playing wiffle ball and riding your boogie boards in the surf? Is there a special present you're hoping?